Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, I am a pioneer. This title was very ballsy from me, right? Because I ended up making the cardinal sin amongst Bills fans of suggesting that the problem with the Buffalo Bills passing game has indeed been Josh Allen. I see a couple of people coming in here and saying, "Oh, Dan, like this is clickbait. Like, how dare you blame Josh Allen?" And guys, I want to tell you this. Number one, I am confident that QB1 can turn it around. There is no doubt in my mind that he's going to get back to MVP type performances. Many people talk about wide receivers. Many people think that it's the wide receiving room. Many people think that it's Joe Brady. But guys, look, at the end of the day, so when you end up looking at the statistics from the wide receivers through the first 7 games of 2024 and the first 7 games of 2025, I feel like anybody that disagrees with me is just really bought into Josh Allen and he could just do no wrong in your eyes. And that's not a problem, right? Like quarterbacks go through slumps. I think what I'm about to show you today is really about to be eye-opening. I genuinely believe this. As you're coming in, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign. It's the easiest way to show love over here on the channel today. And also do me a favor and roll call yourself in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from this afternoon. What corner of the globe are you watching? All right, folks, I'm always curious to see how far Bills Mafia truly explains. Big game on Sunday. Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City Chiefs. Do not be shy. I am talking to all of the lurkers in the building. Where are you tuning in from? Let me know where you are all about. Guys, I need to give a giant shout out to our good friends over on Sleeper Picks. Folks, Sleeper Picks, bar none, the best player prop platform on the market today. They have all of the lines for the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs game. Some of my favorite picks are Keon Coleman under 3.5 receptions. I do have over in passing yards for Josh because I think he figures it out this weekend and more so. It's a very simple process. Simply go on ahead and just pick 2 to 5 players. If you accurately predict all of them, you can see returns of up to 1000x. Signing up, you get a free $20 just for signing up using that link in my description, and they match 100% of your first deposit all the way up to $100. Shout out to Sleeper for being a proud partner of today's channel. Let's go ahead and talk about this. We have Maryland is in the building. What's going on, German? Hope all is well. Wisconsin is in the building. Waco, Texas is in the building. Clark, Summit, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Salem, Virginia is in the building. Hurley, New York, Miami, Florida, Arkansas, go Bills. Lockport, New York is in the building. Dayton, Ohio, Lakeville, Pennsylvania, Atlanta is in the building. We have Maple Falls, Virginia. Chiefs aren't that good. We'll see. We'll see. I believe we're better than the Chiefs, but let's hope. Let's hope. Hey, Dan from South Carolina, user, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. Maryland is in the building. Let's go on ahead and knock this out. Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Monterey, Mexico is in the building. Goldendale, Washington, Pasadena, where are you at? Go Bills from Columbus, Ohio. Damn. All right, like I said, I have anticipated that I was about to ruffle a couple of feathers with this title today, but by the time this show is over with, I feel that you have every right to believe that Josh Allen is not the problem. That's completely fine, right? Like, you have the right of having your own opinion when it comes into anything sports related. But after I show you the differences between production in wide receivers in the first 7 games of 2024 and the first 7 games of 2025, I think objectively, I think all of you will agree that it's like, oh, maybe it is Josh, and maybe it's not necessarily due to his ability, but more so of how defenses are playing him. Anyway, if, for example, you don't follow me over on X, I highly recommend that you do, because this is particularly where I end up posting all of my visuals before my live streams. Let me go ahead and fix this real fast. Bang. All right. So the big common issue here, folks, and something I hear each and every single week, is the Buffalo Bills have a wide receiver problem, right? That's what they say. And to me, really didn't make a whole lot of sense, because the 2 guys that led in targets, or the 3 guys that led in targets last year, are all back on the roster. You have Keon Coleman, you have Khalil Shakir, you have Dalton Kincaid, Sure, you could say Amari Cooper ended up helping this team out a stretch. I guess you can say Mac Hollins helped this team out. But for the first half of the 2024 season, Mac Hollins was public enemy number one. But look, I guarantee you what I'm about to read off is going to shock you, right? Because who are the biggest problems, or who gets the most flack from Bills fans? It's the wide receivers. Oh, Dan, like we don't have anybody outside. Well, let me tell you what, folks. In 2024, for the first 7 games of the season, the Buffalo Bills had 68 receptions, 905 yards, 7 touchdowns, 465 yards after the catch, and an average depth of target 10.16 yards. And this is just wide receivers. This is not running backs. This is not tight ends. This is exclusively wide receivers. Fast forward over to 2025, 75 receptions. So they have had more receptions in 7 games than they did in 2024. 889 yards. Not much of a difference here. Maybe, like 1 or 2 passes gets them right. 5 touchdowns. So only a 2 touchdown difference. Less yak than last year in 2024. 359 yards after the catch. That's nearly 100 less than yards after the catch. Average depth of target, 9.65 yards. Folks, when you look at these numbers, it is virtually the same production. It is virtually the same production. You are seeing everything from the wide receivers all across the damn board, right? The issue here is efficiency. Now, what does that mean, Dan? What does that mean? Why are these wide receivers, why is this pass game seeing a 17.8% drop in total EPA? That's expected points added per drive. And EPA per play down 27%. You see equal box score stats, which is why I'm trying to train a lot of you guys not to just look at box score stats. Say that you exclusively look at box score stats, then you are going to start looking like a Miami Dolphins fan back in 2022 when you saw Tua was leading in multiple categories in passing yards, touchdowns. We all knew what he truly was. You get a good understanding of how a team operates based off of efficiency, based off of what they should be doing. Yesterday on the Bills Roundtable, Kevin explained this beautifully. When you're thinking about EPA, it's literally comparing what the league average, or how the league, an average team, a perfectly average team, would perform in any said type situation. So if you see an offense in negative EPA, that means that they are performing worse than what the average NFL team would perform. If you see positive EPA, they are performing better than the most average team in the NFL. So it gives you a good sense by itself. So what's the difference in EPA? Like, why is this team struggling looking efficient in the pass game? Well, I will tell you what. All this morning, not only have I been pulling up these statistics, I've also been taking a look at the film. And this whole thing where this Buffalo Bills team is not creating separation. Number one, we have a top 10 wide receiver in the league right now that is creating separation. That's Khalil Shakir. He's at 3.9. With Keon Coleman, he has not been playing very well. His efficiency is down, but his average separation is at 2.9 yards per route ran. Several wide receivers that a lot of us are hoping to bring into the building. I still want a wide receiver in this building, trust me. Like Myers, for example, right? Like with that wide receiver in Jacoby Myers, he is averaging 2.8 yards per separation. So Keon is better than him by 0.1 yards, right? You have Chris Olave is at 3, so 0.1 yards better. So separation isn't the problem. When you end up looking at all of the tape from all season long, there are a minimal amount of times, of when literally nobody is open. Very oftentimes there is a player that is wide open in the flat, wide open as the check down, wide open. All right. It's just not downfield. Some people want this downfield passing game separation to be a bit better. Guys, hate to say it, but Josh Allen has never been a good downfield passer. The highest he has ever been in his entire career was 9th in the NFL for completion percentage with 20-yard passes downfield. And that's not a problem. He's an MVP. That's not part of his game, right? It's not part of his game. For the past 3 years, he's been averaging around 25th, 26th. So, what do I think the problem is, especially since we're rolling out the same core DNA of wide receivers that we had in 2024 going into 2025? It's a variety of things. Number one, defenses have been playing Josh Allen a hell of a lot different. Last year, why this team looked so efficient was because defensive coordinators really didn't have a good understanding of where the ball was going at any moment. Vast majority of Josh Allen's efficient passes were in between the numbers. And the Buffalo Bills are still wildly efficient at that. Hence why, like, you're seeing some of the best plays in the pass game be inside the numbers. On the perimeter, it is a complete joke. And you really didn't see a lot of big plays from the perimeter last year either. And you really didn't see a lot of big plays outside of the numbers at all last year. Well, defenses figured that out. And now what they're doing is that they are doing their absolute best to keep Josh Allen in the pocket, and they're succeeding for the most part. Hence why he seems so sporadic and so nervous. Like, you heard him in his recent press conference where he ultimately ended up mentioning that trust is a big thing. He's not trusting his guys. The problem is, folks, these defenses are picking up that his best option in the receiving game is going to be wide receivers open in between the numbers, right? And defenses have made such adjustments. They're keeping him inside the pocket. He's not able to roll out and extend plays. And the guys outside of the numbers have not been someone that he trusts. He's missing guys, right? He's missing guys. He's seeing guys that are open, but he doesn't particularly trust that that is the right play call or that's not the right decision, when in all reality, it truly is. When you see a massive difference in efficiency, the big problem is he's not taking the best possible option that the defense is giving him. So it's more so a case of the yips for Josh rather than anything else. Now, keep in mind, I still would like a wide receiver, right? Like some of you like, Rashid Shaheed, like as like your vertical threat. But again, I don't think he really helps his team out much. I don't. Stevie Johnson said the exact same thing earlier this morning. He said, unless it's A.J. Brown, like no one's really going to be fixing this overall team. It all starts with Josh getting over these yips and just forcing trust within some of these younger guys, which is also something that I feel like we need to start looking at. Do not be surprised if Gabe Davis is elevated on Sunday, because Josh said it himself. He said, I like Gabe because I trust Gabe. And that's how you get it done. And guys, look, I went down an absolute rabbit hole as far as seeing some of the key differences. So between 2024 and 2025, like I said, as far as wide receiver production, they are nearly identical with all of their box score production. It's just overall efficiency, right? So you look at all of this. You have Keon Coleman, you have Khalil Shakir was at 30.94 right there in the first 7 games, and Keon was at 28. They have both since seen significant drops in overall production, meaning that they're not getting the best passes here. Notable changes. Keon Coleman's efficiency declined from 1.76 in 2024 to 0.72. It's minus 60%. Yak per reception plummeted. His yak is gone. Right, as you can see, one thing that was one of our greatest strengths from Keon Coleman's game, indeed, was yards after the catch. Same thing with Khalil Shakir. Maintained similar reception volume, right? But he decreased about 41.8%. That could do with lack of targets. It depends. And then personnel changes. So with Amari Cooper and Matt Collins contributed a combined 18.28 EPA, where Josh Palmer by himself, he doubled their overall efficiency with both of them combined. So as far as a drop-off in talent on the wide receiver side of things, it's not the case. It's not the case. It's just we need QB1 to get back to where QB1 was in the first place. That's precisely what it is. And same thing with Yak after the case. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to the chat here for a hot second, guys. Do me a favor. In order for me to easily decipher between a question and a statement, please label them appropriately. Q for question and S for statement. Let's go ahead and unpack this because we have a big game against the Buffalo. So against the Kansas City Chiefs, and maybe it's against the Buffalo Bills, of course, depending on what team ultimately ends up showing up. Let's see what we got. Hope in Jesus is coming in 1983. 4 days away until Tuesday's trade deadline. Beane needs to get out of his comfort zone and actually trade away a first-round pick for a number 1 wide receiver. So one thing I always like putting out there is it does take 2 to tango, right? Sometimes teams just don't want to walk away from some of their talent. And one thing I can tell you guys, as far as a true number 1 and not a wide receiver 1 with wide receiver 1 upside, I hear that term all the time. Like, miss me with the wide receiver 1 upside. In my opinion, the only wide receiver 1, plural, are 3 guys. Chris Olave, Jordan Addison, Jalen Waddle. And maybe I'll put A.J. Brown into the conversation. But guess what? His average separation is at about 1.9 yards. And that's been the case for the past 2 years. He has great hands, solid dynamic wide receiver. He would make this team better. But all 4 of those guys are true wide receiver number 1s. As far as Jacoby Myers, who is presently out of our price range, he's sitting at about $5 million. And the Buffalo Bills would really need to offload some contracts and maybe trade a player and get that guy off of our books to make it work. Right now, where it stands, Myers would not be in our realm of affordability. So we would need to move some things around. And he's not a true wide receiver number 1. Shaheed is not a true wide receiver number 1. Those 2 guys aren't helping this team, right? Those 4 names that I just listed are the only 4 that I genuinely believe is going to give you that sense of having a dynamic playmaker on the side of the field. That's basically kind of how it plays out. We have Allen is a fraud. I would definitely not say that. It's definitely fine to say that he's been off. And although that he's shown some sort of regression, by no means does that mean he's a fraud, right? Like, he's going to be able to turn it back up. His stats are nearly identical from last year. It's just efficiency and just being able to knock the rust off. It's completely normal to have the yips. He's going to be able to turn it around. We're going to see. Jays win the World Series. How much will Vegas win? Who knows? Who knows, man? Those Toronto Blue Jays about to win the World Series. We have Carl's coming with a $5 donation with a question. Josh said that his footwork is confused. Could Josh being under center help the running game, but him not being in shotgun hurt his passing game? So I'll tell you what. There are rumors that Josh Allen does not like being under center. Numbers don't suggest that because he's a better quarterback under center. But it sounds like he's not comfortable and he hates being under center. A lot of quarterbacks, right, don't like particular things. Like, there are some quarterbacks in this league that hate play action because they have a terrible offensive line and they don't want to turn their back to the defense. They are uncomfortable with that. So that could also be a play where Josh is just not comfortable running under center. He doesn't feel like he can take that to his point of the game. But then again, running out of shotgun, guys, like it's one of those things where we want the team to look a particular way. Like, who remembers when we would bitch and complain about Josh only ever being in shotgun, right? Now it's the complete opposite. I feel like you need more of a mix. If you need a Josh Allen pass game, then I think that you need to pepper it early with some shotgun reps for him, right? That way you can get him into rhythm. It all depends on the game script. It all depends on the game script. Thank you for the super chats, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to my guy right there. Pat always brings the best out of Josh, so after this game, it's only up from here. And look, as far as any opportunity of the weaknesses of the Kansas City Chiefs defense play well into what Josh Allen historically does, okay? Josh is a great play action quarterback. Guess what? the Kansas City Chiefs are the worst defense in the NFL for guarding play action. So that is helpful. Number two, the Kansas City Chiefs are not very good against slot wide receivers. In my opinion, with existing wide receivers on this roster, the one player Josh trusts the most is Khalil Shakir. So that is a match made in heaven as well. I have a funny feeling that Josh is a really good game on Sunday. And I feel like he gets over his overall yips. He finds that. He gets his confidence back. I am filled with confidence that he is going to be able to turn things around here. We're going to see. Recap your order of likely scenario in which a wide receiver is attainable, please. Okay. So I think when it comes into wide receivers, I think that we need to look at, number one, who can we afford this year? I'm not concerned about what their cap hit is in 2027. I'm not concerned about whether or not that they were just signed to a brand new deal. Players like Jalen Waddle, like Jordan Addison, like Chris Olave, all three of those guys, and even including A.J. Brown, where they are in their contracts, it would only cost us around $500,000 to $600,000. Once the years progress and their contracts get a bit more expensive when their salaries hit, I'm not so much concerned because the league cap by itself is growing about $30 million per year. I'm fine with that. Send over a first-round pick like nothing is wrong with that. For me, if you make a move on a wide receiver, it has to be an established one, somebody that has those traits. And in my opinion, they coincidentally just happen to be the four players that I just listed. Jordan Addison, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave, and A.J. Brown. Those are the only four. If you want a wide receiver one and not a wide receiver with wide receiver one upside, those are the only four names. Everybody else, in my opinion, is redundant to what we already have. How you look at it is, so the Buffalo Bills currently have two wide receivers that run about a 4.3 40. You have Curtis Samuel and you have Elijah Moore. Both of them run a 4.3 40. If we were to get Rashid Shaheed, what's to tell you that Joe Brady would use him any differently that he doesn't already use Curtis Samuel / Elijah Moore, right? The reason why we don't stretch the ball downfield too often, again, is because that's not the best part of Josh Allen's game. So I would be significantly underwhelmed if the Buffalo Bills ultimately ended up going with Shaheed. It's the four players that I just listed that are really the only ones that I find to be exciting. Put Keon in the slot, then play Mr. Brightside. So in my opinion, it's hard to put Keon Coleman as the big slot because you're taking reps away from Khalil Shakir. Like maybe situationally, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know with Keon Coleman. It's pretty tough. It's clear that he wasn't the best pick, but we'll say that. Did Josh really say on the podium he doesn't trust his weapons? He mentioned the word trust 7 times. So you can insinuate that that's what he means, right? At the podium, he was asked, like, what's going on? Or, like, somebody sort of alluded to the fact, like, what's off about this passing game? And he was talking about trusting his footwork. And he was talking about, like, trust was the main theme of it all. And they asked him, like, what has been going well with this offense? And he mentioned the run game, passing inside of the numbers, and he mentioned something else. But from what I'm seeing is he doesn't trust the guys out on the perimeter, not because of their caliber of play, rather, but like he wasn't really asked much to test the perimeter last year. A lot of his most efficient plays were inside of the numbers all last year, and now defense has figured it out. And with the defenses are doing a hell of a lot better of a job being able to contain him within the pocket. So that's kind of where we're at here. I have questions about Beane spending wisely and drafting and Sean coaching and Josh. I'm not worried about Josh. No, you shouldn't be. But as far as Brandon Beane, like, here's my deal. And maybe you guys could list me as a Brandon Beane apologist, but so number one, when it came into Keon Coleman, right? He was a very controversial pick at the time. But then again, guys, Stephon Diggs was traded before his brand new contract even started. We signed him to a 4-year extension, $96 million, and he forced his way out of the building. I hate to tell you this, guys, but a lot of people act like it's easy to find a wide receiver 1 replacement in the drafts when you're regularly picking no earlier than 25 for the past 4 to 5 seasons. It's not a cakewalk of being able to find and replace that immediate type of production. Where Buffalo is, that's one of the downsides of being a good football team. So when you ask and like you look around the league and you say, oh, like, why don't we have a Jamar Chase? Or, oh, like, why don't we have like this wide receiver or that wide receiver or this wide receiver, what have you? Guys, 9 times out of 10, that team was picking within the top 10 almost each and every single year. When you get past those 15 picks in the first round, very rarely does anybody after the 20th overall pick have a first round grade. It's basically a glorified second round pick. Now, say that it was up to me going back to the draft a couple of years ago, I would have went with Ladd McConkey. Say that you followed me for a while, like, you know that I was a Ladd McConkey guy. I wanted him on this team because I felt like he was a hell of a lot more dynamic. He was a more well-rounded type wide receiver for the team. But that's not helpful, right? Like, who cares what Dan Mitchell would have done? Who cares what, Dave would have done? Who cares what Senke Chandler would have done? It doesn't matter. We have to deal with what we have. As far as Brandon Beane, like, look, really at the end of the day, look at all of our core players and all of the players that excite us, right? On this roster right now. James Cook was a draft pick for the Buffalo Bills. Like, he's an absolute star. Shakir was a draft pick, dare I say, in the damn 5th round, okay? Benford was a damn 6th round pick. He's one of the stars of this team. Matt Milano was a draft pick. He was a star. Unfortunately, he can't stay healthy, but he's a star. Same thing with Bernard. He has had great seasons. He was a draft pick. All of the Buffalo Bills good players. If you were to list the top 10 best players in the Buffalo Bills right now, all 10 of them were draft picks for the Bills. All 10 of them were. First round was a different story. First round is great. Like, I get it. But again, guys, like, this Buffalo Bills team has not been in the top 10 in a long ass time. And the last time we had a good first round draft pick, guess what? Traded up right into the 7th. Right into the 7th, we were able to do that. So for me, it's not so much Beane. It's not so much Beane. It's some of the downsides of being in a salary cap league. You know what I mean? Some coaching staff gigs. Was not happy when we let Kansas City move up a spot to get Worthy, and even more now. So to be honest with you, I still don't think that Worthy would have made this team any better. Like, Ladd McConkey would have made this team better. And so, but Worthy, and so what is he? So the 3rd option for the Chiefs right now? Like, great. And like I said, so like, we're just looking at traits right now. Like, we already have guys with speed. Like, Worthy may have made this team great, cool, but again, it's just not helpful. I saw a stat that says Allen's faces the least amount of cover 2. We should be killing defenses, in my opinion. Yeah, we should be. We should be. With how Josh Allen has eclipsed Jim Kelly as the Bills' all-time best quarterback, I don't see why the Bills' offense doesn't implement the no-huddle offense. It worked great back then. it will work now comments. Yeah, it's just not something that this league really likes to do as a consistent game plan anymore for some odd reason. So I think when it comes into it, some of the key differences I've seen from this team is that Josh is under center a hell of a lot more than what he has been in the past. And that's great for the run game. That's great for the damn run game. And it's great for play action. And luckily, like, we're going up against a defense which struggles against play action. So maybe that's going to be able to help him out. But my only thought is your main goal should be this. With Josh is clearly uncomfortable out there. And the only thing you can point to is he's living under center. And that's not really where, like, you can get him into his rhythm. I think that he's having a hard time getting in rhythm based off of how often this team is asking him to start under center. In fact, I'm curious about this. Hold up. Let me see. I'm actually curious about this. Compare, I'm trying to think how to phrase this. How often is the Bills offense under center opposed to shotgun in 2025? Also include the splits in 2024. I'm kind of curious to see if there's any crazy significant difference, or maybe it's just the eye test. Who knows? Maybe it's closer than we thought. Maybe change up some of these route combos as well. Need to get Keon running slants more and Samuel going deep with their speed. Kincaid, Shakir, or JA17 favorite targets, but need him to get comfortable with other guys on the team as well. That, and then maybe some more receptions over to James Cook's way as well. What do you think about Brian Thomas Jr. to the Buffalo Bills? If the Jaguars are interested in sending him off, and I do think that there is a strong likelihood that they will, because number one, like with Liam Cohn and their brand new GM have no ties to any of these guys on the roster. Like, they made no investment in that previous draft class. So I think that he's certainly on the trade block, regardless of what Liam Cohn says. As far as Brian Thomas Jr., like, yeah, he had a great year last year, but remember, he dominated with Mac Jones. He did not dominate with Trevor Lawrence. And he's visibly afraid of contact, right? Like, dude hears footsteps right in the middle of the field. He's got good hands, but he's just afraid to get hit. So do I think that he would be a wide receiver one for the Buffalo Bills? No, I think he'd be another guy that would be wide receiver one upside, which I'm not going from that. So this is what we're seeing from Buffalo in 2024. Oh, look at this. This is big. 2024 first 7 games. Shotgun formation 61.4% of the time. He was under center 35.6% of the time. Pistol formation 3. Let's fast forward to 2025. Shotgun is decreased a whole 11%. 50% of the time, this team is in shotgun. He has increased under center formation up to 49.2%. So there has been a drastic amount of under center for the first 7 games of 2025 and the first 7 games of 2024. Is that what's making Josh Allen feel uncomfortable? All we can do is look at the numbers and speculate. Like, that's all we can do. Key observations: a dramatic shift in formation balance. Consistent play type tendencies. Shotgun remains pass heavy. Under center remains run heavy. Pistol formation dropped from 3% to 0.5% in 2025. More balanced offense approach in 2025, potentially less predictable for opposing defenses. So Brady's heart is there, right? So Brady's heart is there. He typically gets a lot of flack for being predictable, but based off of what he's trying to accomplish, he's trying to be a bit less predictable, if you were to ask me. some crazy stuff. Show me pass play and run play success rates with these formations as well. Let's see. I really hope that, okay, let's go ahead and get back into this. With what wide receivers? Say that you were here earlier, you would see that we have almost identical production from wide receivers as we did for the first 7 games. Letting Mac Hollins walk was a mistake. Maybe. Maybe. So I really don't think that Mac Hollins was some dynamic wide receiver. Like for the first 7 games last year, he was like public enemy number 1 for Bills fans because he had a couple of key drops in very important games. As far as being like a good wide receiver, like me adding another wide receiver 3 or a wide receiver 4 to this team is not going to drastically improve this team. I think Buffalo would still have issues. Say that he was still here, right? Like maybe Josh trusted him. Like maybe, who knows? I mean, we'll never know. But, and plus, like, look, so we tried to bring back Mac Hollins. And he decided to go to the Patriots for more money. Like that's basically what it was. Like, so he was going on ahead and he was chasing a bag. And I'm not mad at the guy. I'm like, yeah, dude, like go get your money. It's not like you're a star in the making, right? Like he's getting older, so might as well collect as much as you possibly can. I think that was just the case. This is deep right here. 2024 season success rates. In 2024 in shotgun, 44. Run plays 41.9. Shotgun still 57.5. Solid. And then under center. Pass plays in 2025. Only 59.5 success rate. Where you went under center, 53.8% success rate. So a slight improvement. It's got to be a thing of comfortability. It's got to be a thing of comfortability. Like that's precisely what it is. We have D's have realized if they blitz, Josh just has nobody that can get open off of the line. But like, here's the deal, right? So here's the deal. Minus the Atlanta Falcons game, like Josh is very good under the blitz. He's very, very good. A lot of the times where Josh has been having trouble with the blitz is when he doesn't call the appropriate production, when he doesn't call the right protection. It's the exact same thing that happened during the AFC Championship game last season. It's not the offensive line. His protection is still the second best offensive line in the NFL as far as preventing pressure. It's true. It's what the numbers suggest. Josh is one of the best quarterbacks in the league against the blitz historically. And once you remove the Atlanta Falcons game, still very good. He's still a top of the league. I think what has been causing him to struggle is more so him calling the appropriate protection. That's what it is. Good run blocker, I will say. He's a great run blocker. I would assume the 3 tight end formations have increased quite a bit in 2025 as well. Yeah, dude. Maybe it's something like that. Like maybe it's calling like some differences or something along those lines of like maybe he's having a hard time getting in with some of these like brand new formations he's been seeing. I don't know. Everyone loved Holland's character mid-player on the field. We have Maria coming on in. Mac Hollins, that AFC Championship game was one of the only wide receivers that got any sort of separation. I mean, guys, look. And so I know that a lot of people love Mac Hollins, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to pay a wide receiver for $10 million. And we tried to bring him back, and he went to the Patriots for 10. Getting Gabe Davis back is big, clutch player. I will tell you what, Gino, would Josh Allen at least trust Gabe Davis? And so I'm not a big fan of Gabe Davis. And I was a big proponent of not paying Gabe Davis. But if that trust is there between both of them, Sign me up all day of the week. Why are people so hung up on Hollins? He wasn't the answer. I think a lot of it has to do with his locker room fit. And so he was a good locker room guy, I'm sure. But I don't really think he moves the needle much for us, right? Like, doesn't really move the needle a lot for us. Sit back and relax. This is going to be a freaking awesome game. This team has hit a wall every year for the past few. These guys are ready to go. For sure. For sure, man. Listen, I have all the confidence in the world. In fact, I am probably one of the few Bills creators on YouTube right now that is picking the Buffalo Bills to win. I am probably one of the few. There are several that have had the Bills losing a close one. And I mean, it's fine. That's good to go. I just think that this Buffalo Bills offense has a lot of opportunities, to look more normal. I'm actually really excited to see us versus Kansas City this week. You and me both. I loved Hollins. He was a glue and a hype guy. He was a vibes guy, right? But like, again, what I always like reminding people, like, we tried to bring him back and he just didn't. So it's not on Beane, in my opinion. It's not on Beane, in my opinion, for not bringing him back. We have Mr. West Ashley. Remember how much trash y'all talked about Gabe Davis? Bills fans are like maybe he had like 3 games worth of highlight reels, right? Like, he was just inconsistent. So he wasn't the kind of guy that like I would trust to be a go-to guy each and every single game. Like, yeah, like he played well in certain situations. Like, he did good during that 13 seconds game. He did good against Pittsburgh one year. But like, dude had dropping issues, right? But Josh trusts him. So say that he's elevated and he makes some plays against Kansas City. Damn right. And so I'm fine with whatever we can do to improve this. I might be wrong, but I feel like Josh needs to use his legs way more to open up the field. I don't know if any team is scared of him running as of late. So the thing is that most defensive lines are keeping Josh Allen in the pocket, right? And they're utilizing a spy. Why Josh was able to defeat the quarterback spy in the past is that most defensive lines had no success at being able to contain him in the pocket, right? So he could just scramble right almost instantaneously at will. That gives that QB spy more time, and there's really not a lot of opportunities. But look, like I said, with QB1 has won the MVP last year. He's got it at him. But something's up right here. In my opinion, I think that it might have something to do with this. How much did Buffalo run 13-man personnel in 2024 compared to how much they run 13 personnel in 2025? That's it, baby. That is it. Got this right now. We have Travis Hunter is on IR right now. That's awful. And you hate to hear that. I think the Bills will win. As a Chiefs fan, Allen always has good games against this defense. So one thing I do know is that this game is going to be decided by 3 points or less. That much I can tell you. I'm picking the Bills to win, but it could very realistically go either way, like every single Bills and Chiefs matchup. No, I'm not a Gabe believer either. Us and the Titans got rid of him for a reason. But look, if, for example, Gabe can go out there and like he can establish chemistry with Josh and like be a guy that he trusts, sign me up, dude. It's not like he costs a lot of money. Here's something that's different, right? So I wasn't a no Gabe on this roster at any cost type guy. I was a no Gabe on this roster for 15 million plus a year type guy. That's who I was. I said, I don't want Gabe Davis on this roster if he's making $20 million plus a year, right? But for Gabe Davis being a practice squad elevation, damn right. Damn right I'll have this guy on my roster. Wow, folks. Overall usage. So the Buffalo Bills use 13 personnel, 1 running back, 3 tight ends, 1 wide receiver. They have increased this significantly. 6.62% usage rate. Show me the first 7 weeks of 2024 and the first 7 weeks of 2025. Like right now, all we're doing is like we're trying to figure out, right, what could be causing this sense of discomfort for Josh Allen. Yes, that is confirmed. Travis Hunter is going on the injured reserve. That is terrible. He's not scrambling because he's under center too much this season. Mario, as you're coming in, we have seen nearly a 12% increase in Buffalo going under center. Do you think Mr. Beane is going to pull the trigger for a wide receiver at the trade deadline? I believe he will, but the name is who? Let me see what we got. Gabe is a good number 4, but not a wide receiver 2. Number 1 money man. Look at that. Question, why aren't we using quick slant curl or on running back out in the flat for a dump off? And do you think that Josh doesn't see it, or maybe it's not schemed up? So I think a lot of the reason why Josh is uncomfortable is due to some of the changes we've seen in formation, right? Right now, I am going to look at the difference. So between what we have been doing this year and what we did in 2024. One key difference here is this Buffalo Bills team has seen a dramatic increase in plays under center, right? It's more efficient, obviously, to throw the ball in shotgun than it is under center. Maybe if you're establishing play action, cool. Wow. Okay. You see this? Look at this. In 2024, so the Buffalo Bills ran 2 plays under 13 personnel. 2. 0.51% usage rate. In 2025, 28 plays and 13 personnel. Folks, based off of everything we've learned today, right? Why do you think Josh Allen has not looked the same? And folks, I am very curious to hear your thoughts based off of everything we've learned today on this stream. Let's take a look. Shotgun formation has gone down from 61.4% to 50%. We have under center formation has gone up from 35.6% to 49.2% of plays. Thirteen personnel has been used 26 more times, 7.41% of the time, compared to 0.51% of the time. In your opinion, based off of everything that we just learned, what do you think the issue is? Formations. Play calling. It's not that it's inefficient. It's not that guys aren't open. It's that Josh is uncomfortable with what this offense has become. Growing pains. I imagine that the Bills are going to go back to what made them good last year, or they're just going to force it until Josh Allen gets comfortable with it again. That's what I'm thinking. We have Mr. West Ashley, 843, saying, because Josh won the MVP with a narrative of him doing everything by himself, so Brady actually shows our real weapons. That narrative is fake. So Brady tones us down to win another MVP for Josh. Interesting take here. Lack of comfortability of being under center. Bingo. To me, Allen has been playing more conservatively since he took that hit to the nose during the Jets game. Still getting used to being thrown into these formations. These are just growing pains. Yep. It's going to be scheme reason Josh Allen doesn't look the same, plus another year for teams to scheme against him. Question: do you think we have a realistic chance at getting Jordan Addison for a 2027 second round pick and a 2026 fourth? He's my dream candidate, right? And I haven't heard anything that he is even potentially on the trade block. But I would love Jordan Addison if, for example, we can make it work. Because, so you want to know what's interesting? So it's super interesting right now is last year when Amari Cooper was signed, his name was barely even floating around as a potential trade target. And you didn't hear a word from the Bills organization that we were even interested. So I think that whoever is brought in based off of previous experiences is going to be somebody we didn't even think about. Why does it make sense for Minnesota to walk away from Jordan Addison? Well, number one, you already have a wide receiver that's taking up a lot of your cap. Okay. O'Connor is not the type of guy, Kevin O'Connell is not the type of guy that wants to stray away from having a well-balanced team. He loves his defense. I think that defense is still going to be a big part of their system. You're not going to be able to have a well-rounded team when you have two wide receivers that are massive cap hits, right? And while Jordan Addison is still on his rookie contract, he's going to be due a fifth-year option next year. And then he's also going to be due an extension eventually. So hold on, let me double check. I'm pretty sure Jordan Addison was a. Hold up. Yeah. Okay. So he was a first round pick. So he is due a fifth year option if they are willing to take it. So based off of how I think O'Connell wants to run this team, I don't think that he is really planning on giving Jordan Addison a contract extension, barring some crazy injury from Jay Jettis. So I think he's on the trade block. I think Jordan Addison, if he's not traded at the deadline, I think that he might be traded next offseason. I don't really see a path for him to retire a Minnesota Vikings. I don't see a path for him to have another contract with Minnesota. Do they want to move on from him now? Right when he's balling. He's absolutely balling since he's been back from his suspension. Do they? With Jordan Addison would be a dream. You're damn right I would send over a first. You're damn right I would send over a first for him. We have statement. I think we should need to go after Waddle, Addison, or A.J. Brown. Go get your 2020 version of Diggs and make this offense dynamic again. We have BF Fan of Life. Why would Minnesota get rid of two wide receiver ones while they are trying to develop J.J. McCarthy or a new quarterback? Simply just to go on ahead and stack up on draft capital since it's not looking too good that they're going to be a playoff team. And so I think we're going to really understand what Minnesota looks like based off of how JJ plays this weekend. If JJ has a share of struggles, why? Right? I just have a feeling he's on the block. Say that Addison is not traded at the deadline, I can almost guarantee you he's going to be gone this offseason. Right before somebody ends up taking his fifth-year option. That much I can tell you. Do you think Brian Thomas Jr. is still on the table with Travis Hunter being on the IR? Probably not. He's probably sticking around. We have Minnesota doesn't want to be in a Cincinnati situation with wide receivers, but no line or defense. For sure. So in my opinion, I'm thinking probably will eventually move on from him. And I'm not saying that Buffalo is going to pick him up, but I mean, I hope so. And so I hope that Brandon Beane has at least made a call. But I just don't think that Minnesota wants to have such a significant amount of cap exclusively in one position. And because that time to decide whether or not that you want to give a fifth-year option to Addison is coming fast. It's coming really damn fast. And so no receiver would want to come to Buffalo. Sorry about that, pals. So the thing with trades is, so these players have no choice. With free agency, they do. But for the most part, like, players don't have a choice when it comes into trades. Like, they go. Or maybe they retire or something along those lines. But then again, why would you leave all that money on the table, especially when you know that you're capable? And so I'm not willing to buy that a wide receiver number one would not be interested in coming and playing with the MVP of the league either. I'm here. I am here. We have Mr. West Ashley is saying, we let him go because we're a running team. Y'all don't want to have to deal with it, but it's a cook team now, not an air raid team. So we didn't let him go, bro. He forced his way out. He was supposed to be in his first year of his 4-year, $90 million contract extension. This has nothing to do with us. Like, don't blame the Bills for what Stephon Diggs did. Dude forced his way out of Buffalo. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, there's no difference between it. And there's nothing wrong with being a running team. Trades, they don't have a choice. It's not baseball where they have no trade clauses all over the field. And Waddle isn't a diva wide receiver. He'd hit a personality here in the locker room. I mean, maybe. He forced his way out because the fans constantly, I mean, dude, look. Every single fan base is like this. Every single one of them. Is like this. So don't think it was the fans. When you don't shoot hoops for a while, you suck afterwards. Practicing games are way different. AL said we have 20 to 30 chances of getting him for a first-round pick. AI said we have 20 to 30% chance of getting him for a first-round pick. That's funny. And with every time minicamp came around, Diggs had an issue. Yeah, dude. Like, he was a drama queen. And, like, he was not good for this team. But Diggs caused his own problems. Don't blame it on the fans. And Diggs pulled an Anakin Skywalker on us. Oh, man. Well, Josh only has to trust Shakir. Let me see. Trade Keon for Olave. He's from Louisiana. Maybe him home. He will play better. Bills fans are the only fan base that constantly trashes their teammates. I would scroll through and, like, search for terms like Brock Purdy. And so I'd search for terms like Burrow. So I'd search for terms like Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh. Trust me, my friend. We are not the only fan base that trashes players. That much I can assure you. When Diggs was a cancer to the Bills, just started playing so much better once he was gone and him screaming at Josh on the sideline, everything about him. It was time for him to go. If Keon Coleman is buns, yeah, he's not playing well right now. Question, what's the report on Prater? Wind would be an issue on Sunday. I don't know, man. Hopefully he's okay. All right, boys. And so I love each and every single one of you. I am out of here. Yeah. Fun fact, I will be live for Fourth and Forever by myself at 12, where we unpack everything football related. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Peace.